Boy, that time flies when you're having fun. Welcome back, guys and gals. JJ here once again, schooltrade.com. It is great to be back here with you with another trading psychology video here for you guys this week. Question of the day today. Always appreciate you guys sending me those questions. He says, I'm a new trader and I feel completely overwhelmed with how much I need to learn to be successful. He says, I know this isn't going to be easy. I knew that going into it. And the reward is definitely going to be worth the effort. But I would love any tips you have on getting started, avoiding burnout, and avoiding this overwhelming feeling. Wow, great question. Have you ever felt overwhelmed at your desk every day? I know I definitely have. Great question. I'm always grateful for all the questions you guys post on my YouTube channel. Keep sending them. I always appreciate that. In today's psychology lesson, I'm going to give you a strategy with 3 ways to develop your mind and your body for a successful long-term trading career so you can avoid that feeling of being overwhelmed. You can have some fun while you're doing it, right? And become a consistently profitable trader. But before I go into the lesson today, I got to remind you this psychology video is just the most recent in a long series of videos that I publish every week in this YouTube channel. And these videos, they build on the topics we've already discussed. So if this is the first time you're watching, you might want to go back to the beginning of this video series and start there. I'll drop a link for you guys in the description of the YouTube video. Follow that link, start from the beginning, and then work your way here. That way all the terminology we use will make sense. I also want to remind you while you're on my YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure hit that bell icon so you always get notified whenever I have a new video, all right? And if you really want to stay in tune with everything School of Trade, go to the website, schooloftrade.com, sidewaysmarkets.com, and make sure you join our mailing list, and I'll shoot you an email anytime I do another one of these videos. Okay, got that out of the way. Let's get into the strategy here for today. The topic of today's lesson is how to develop your body and mind for a long-term successful trading career. Avoiding burnout, avoiding that overwhelming feeling that I know is so easy to get into when it comes to being a trader. Now remember, I just did a video, right? Way back in 2017, I did a video on the 3 ways to make trading easier. The first way was find a coach. The second way was learn a strategy. The third way was maintain a positive mindset. Now looking at those 3 pieces, assuming you already have a coach, and that coach will hopefully provide you with a battle-tested trading strategy. We've talked about my term battle testing before, right? And this psychology video series should give you the tools you need to develop a positive mindset. But let's dig deeper and think about how you can start from nothing, right? 0 knowledge, 0 trading experience, and grow into a successful, consistently profitable trader in the long term. But first, let's start with an analogy. Let's talk about running a marathon. I know. Don't worry. We're not going to go too deep into this. But if I were to tell you that I wanted to run a marathon, how would I do that? How would I set out? It's a new year, right? Maybe I didn't, by the way. But let's say I did. Let's say my New Year's resolution was to run a marathon. How would I do it? What would you do, right? Well, first I would set a goal. Set the goal. Write it down, tell some friends, right? Social feedback is always important. But then get all the tools and then start slowly building my mental and physical endurance, right? So first thing, set a goal. Second thing, get all the tools that I would need, right, to run a marathon. I know there's not that many, but go with me on this, right? And then I would start building my mental endurance and my physical endurance. Trading and marathons, they may seem like polar opposites. I don't know many traders that run marathons, to be honest with you, right? But they both require both physical and mental endurance, right? They both have a lot of moving pieces involved which need to be developed. And at the same time, let's be honest, there needs to be an element of fun if you're going to invest a lot of time to accomplish that type of goal, whether it be trading or running a marathon, right? Running a marathon, I don't know anyone who can run more than 20 miles, right, 26 miles, without at least enjoying a little bit of that activity. Same thing for day trading, right? We spend a lot of time at our desks, right? Hopefully we enjoy the process of it rather than the profit, or at least a little bit more of the process, right, and the profit. So let's do it, right? Let's go register for the marathon. Maybe it's 90 days out, 180 days out, whatever it is. What should we do? Well, first, if I'm registered for a marathon, a couple months from now, I first need to make sure I understand all the tools needed for running. Now, you're probably thinking, what tools do you need? You need shoes, you need a water bottle, right? Learn how to stretch, learn diet, learn sleep, learn massage, learn recovery. Okay, running is a simple thing, right? Not many moving pieces to it. But as a trader, it's a lot more complicated, right? What are the tools for trading, right? I got to learn to use a computer. I got to learn to use the trading software. I got to learn to read a brokerage statement. Don't tell me you haven't learned how to read that complicated printout they sent you every day to your email box, right? Got to learn to read a brokerage statement. Got to learn how to understand economic news, right? Or how to avoid economic news, if you want my opinion. You got to learn technical analysis. You got to learn psychology, right? Yeah, all these pieces to a trading career. So then for a marathon, right? So now I get the pieces that I need for trading, right? The pieces that I need for running a marathon. Now for a marathon, once I have my running shoes and my water bottle, what should I do next? Next, let's make it a habit of start running a little bit every day. And every week, I would add a little bit more distance, right? Start running for 5 minutes. Then next week, run for 6 minutes. Then run for 7 minutes, right? That's the way they teach you to run a longer, right, distance, right? And eventually, you would be able to build your endurance long enough to the point where you could run a whole darn 26 miles. Insane. Now, what would happen? What would happen if I laced up my running shoes, I filled up my water bottle, I set out, right? I waved to my wife and said, honey, I'll be back in 26 miles. Well, she would look at me like she usually does, like I'm crazy, right? But I would probably run out, maybe 6-7 minutes in, I'd get injured, I'd be exhausted, right? And I would also have a hard time staying mentally focused on running for that long period of time. This seems like common sense, right? Right? It's unrealistic to day number one think I'm going to go run 20 some odd miles and have the mental and physical stamina just because I have a nice pair of running shoes. Right? So what do? We make it a habit of doing a little bit every day, start slowly, build over time, and again, we make sure we find some enjoyment because it's hard to reach goals that you really don't enjoy. Let's be honest with it, right? You can't just do it for the money, unfortunately, right? You can't just do it for the trophy at the end. It's very difficult to run a marathon just for that little trophy they give you at the end. The same thing is true for your trading career. When we start as traders, even if we have the luxury of working with a coach who provides a strategy, we still need to condition our minds to maintain the focus, to follow our rules over a long period of time, and we need to condition our bodies to handle the wear and tear of sitting at a desk for most of the day. Now, in my experience, day trading requires substantial amount of focus over a relatively long period of time. We're not talking days here. We're talking a series of of hours here with a lot of sitting and waiting in between. Right? We need to develop that endurance, that stamina, right? That mental and physical stamina, that endurance to do that type of work. To develop this long-term focus for your career, I would recommend you train for your trading career just like an athlete would train for running a marathon. Make it a goal, get all the tools you need, right? And do a little bit each day, gradually adding more over time. Start first with learning one piece of that trading strategy each week. Don't try to learn everything at the same time. It's unrealistic. Okay, this is really, really important, especially for all you new traders out there. And if you're an experienced trader, I haven't forgot about you. I get some tricks at the end of this, so stay tuned. I don't want you guys clicking off that video yet if you're an experienced trader. Now, if you are my client and you are relatively new to trading, the first thing I would do is I would say learn to use one piece of this strategy, right? I'm going to give you a copy of my trading strategy for all of our advanced clients out there, right? And I'm going to teach you to use one of these pieces every single week. I personally would recommend you start with the moving average. Learn how to use the moving average to determine who has control of the market, the sentiment of that trend, and where we are in the trend, right? Is it brand new trend? Is it old, right? That's the moving average tells you all of that information. So I would encourage you, your homework, if you're working with me as a client, is I would encourage you to spend at least 1 week focusing on nothing but that moving average. I'll give you a set of rules to follow, everything to look at. We do this in our intermediate classes, by the way, right? And you would literally spend this 1 week, 7 days, mastering that moving average, right? Knowing exactly what it looks like, how to use it, only the moving average. Then the next week, I would come back and I would say, okay, now that you've mastered the technique of the moving average, now let's add something else on top. Now let's learn how to use trend lines. Not just any trend lines, my secret weapon, what I call micro trend lines. They make up what I call the price action cycle here at School of Trade. Then you would spend the week mastering the use of those trend lines and the microcycle. See how this works? You don't try to do everything at once. Of course you're going to get overwhelmed and burned out. Start building on top of those skills, right? Again, it seems like common sense, but you'd be amazed at how uncommon, right, it is these days. So learning to trade is relatively easy if you have a strategy, like I'm going to give you, that lays out all the pieces you need to learn. Then do a little bit more each day, add more each week, and soon enough, right, you'll know all the pieces to that strategy like a professional. Almost like a car mechanic would need to learn all the different pieces that make up an automobile engine. I don't know what they are. I just take my car to the shop and they give it back to me a few days later and it works, right? But the analogy is the same for any complex, right, business where there's a lot of moving pieces. Now that we have an understanding of the moving pieces, the next piece of this puzzle is to build our mental focus or our mental stamina or mental endurance for a long period of time. Now, stay tuned later this week because I got a great video later this week on the topic of building mental stamina. I was going to kind of piggyback on this lesson. Now, just like running a marathon, a typical trading day could last between 3 to 6 hours, really, depending on what type of strategy you're trading. And you need to develop the mental endurance to perform the entire time. The good news is, if you learn the strategy in small bite-sized pieces, it won't be so overwhelming when you go to put it all together again, right? It'll make sense how those pieces work, and it won't be as mentally exhausting for you. So let's start small, trading for 1 hour each day, right? To build that mental endurance, just like building those skills, let's start small. Let's do 1 hour each day. Then, just like you were building your endurance for running that marathon, add a little bit more time each week, right? I remember when I first started trading many years ago, over 10 years ago, I would be exhausted at the end of an 8-hour day sitting at my desk. Nowadays, it barely even phases me. Of course, I've learned different tricks over the years. I get smarter, right, over the years. But it still stays the same, right? Start small. Start tomorrow morning, and if you're tired while you're trading, if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted right now, just why don't we cut this back? Why don't we cut this down? Let's do 1 hour tomorrow, right? Then a week from tomorrow, do 1 hour and 15 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 hour and 45 minutes, right? Until you've built up to a full trading session, right? Make sense? Right? So start small, build up, adding a little bit more week by week, week by week. How many times have I said in these psychology videos, it's all about weekly goals, weekly development. Day to day is too small, right? It's unpredictable. Week to week, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Now, the final step in this process is to add a little bit of physical fitness and hopefully a little bit more fun into the mix as well. So at this point, we're slowly building our trading skills, right? We've learned all the pieces to the strategy. Now we're trading for 1 hour, 1 hour and 15, 1 hour and 30, 1 hour and 45, 1 hour, right? 2 hours, and we're growing that up. But don't forget to invest some time in strengthening your body while having some time for fun at the same time. Now, I know from personal experience, and you might have already experienced as well too, but I have the most energy every day when I get at least 20 minutes of exercise the previous day. I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? But when you get some exercise yesterday, you feel better the following day. I'm not saying 2 hours worth of exercise. I'm just saying 20 minutes, right, of getting that heart rate elevated, working those muscles, reminding your body what it does, right, while we have one. And that energy, that built up energy, is going to help fuel my hard work each day while I'm trading. I would also make sure you kind of earmark at least a few hours each week, again, week to week, doing something that brings you joy. I would highly, highly encourage you to donate your time, play sports, get outside, arts and crafts, do whatever it takes, whatever makes you smile, whatever you enjoy, right? The little ego inside of you wants to be let out, right? Or should I say he or she wants to be fed, right? You've got to take care of yourself if you're going to be able to take care of your trading career as well, right? A mentor of mine many years ago said, Joe, if you don't fill yourself up first, you're never going to be able to give back to whatever you're working hard for. And that includes your family, your business, your hobbies, right? So find whatever makes you happy and do it. Now, I would highly encourage you, whatever you're doing, get some friends involved. Whoever still loves you and likes you, even though they know everything about you, those are your friends, right? Grab your family, grab your friends, and do it with them, right? That'll be a little bit of a feel-good chemical, right? Little endorphin boost, right? That'll push you through the hard times. So by investing time in yourself with exercise and committing to having a little bit of fun each week. I know we have big goals, and I know they don't accomplish themselves, but try to have some fun at least a few hours each week, and you will see those energy levels skyrocket. And when you combine a higher energy level with all of the knowledge of those tools, and you're slowly, gradually building up, man, you have a recipe for long-term trading success. Well, guys, we've covered a lot in this psychology lesson. Let's do a quick recap, shall we? The topic of today's video was how to condition yourself for a successful trading career without getting burned out and overwhelmed along the way. We talked about how learning to trade is kind of weirdly similar to training for a marathon, right? You can't do it all in one day. It helps to have a plan. You have to know all the tools, right? And you got to slowly build up over time. I gave you 3 pieces, right, to this strategy. Learn a little bit each day. Spend more time trading each week, right? Grow that time you're spending. And 3, invest time in exercise and fun, and try to include your friends around you as well. One more thing I would also mention for all you experienced traders out there. You know, I've been trading for almost 10 years now here at School of Trade. And I am no stranger to hitting plateaus, getting burned out, losing interest. It's always a threat to anyone who does the same thing every day for a long period of time. To keep myself sharp and excited for the following trading day, I'm always trying to learn new techniques. I'm always trying to meet new traders. I'm always trying to learn new strategies, new ways to look at the markets, even if I don't agree with the way that they use their analysis, right? And like I said earlier, I have another video coming later this week on a similar topic, right? So make sure you stay tuned on that. So just like an athlete, right? Just like a professional athlete or a hardcore weekend warrior, as they call us, right? Just like an athlete is always trying new techniques to push our bodies to the next level, right? I find it beneficial to purposely take myself out of my comfort zone whenever possible, which expands my knowledge, piques my interest, obviously, right, and opens my mind to the flow of new ideas that ultimately benefit my trading in the long run. So if you're a new trader, right, you now have a strategy to ramp up, right, your new trading career. And if you're an experienced trader, right, and you find yourself lacking motivation now and then, feeling burned out, right, I would highly recommend getting out of your comfort zone. Again, even if you don't agree with some of the strategies you're learning, right, but find some new strategies, find some new traders. There's so many groups you can find locally on the interwebs these days. Go to Amazon, find some new books on Amazon to read, right? Just expand your mind a little bit. Get some new ideas in there and look at these charts, look at the markets from a different point of view, right? Get that bigger perspective of what you're doing. Anything to shake things up, right, and force you outside of that comfort zone. I think you'll see it'll be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but it will really pay off in the end when you get back to your strategy again, right, the following week. All right, guys, wrapping things up, I hope you found a ton of value in today's psychology lesson. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below the video today with any topics you'd like to see me cover in my next psychology video. If you like the video today, give me a thumbs up, right? Smash it if you're into that type of stuff, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already, and don't forget, hit that bell icon on the YouTube page. That way you always get notified when I send out my next psychology video. And please don't forget, you can find me every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, rolling up my sleeves, if I had sleeves right now, working hard with all of my clients in our trade room here at School of Trade. I get a great free trial over the homepage of schoolofttrade.com. Check that out. I do my nightly newsletter every evening on my blog before 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll be back in a few days on my next psychology lesson. I look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget, my name is Joseph. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will you? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.